I'm Colleen Schneider, and I'm a mixed martial arts fighter. I actually consider myself a pacifist. I've never been in a fight in my life outside of martial arts. But that's the only way you grow and develop as a person, if you choose to do things that push you and challenge you and make you uncomfortable. MMA is not the smartest career choice. It's something you do out of passion and love.
Whatever drives you, wherever you are on your journey, whatever you're in it for, we're in it together. LinkedIn, you're closer than you think.
Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the War Room. We got Dev, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. How you wanna end a 1 or 2 hour show to get the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level? Bold with the topics, sorta like some rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4th and 26th saw the war in Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys, diversified and educated. What's good out there, War Room family? You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Devin McMillan. I'm in the building with my brother, B. Austin. Jimmy the Blueprint is a little bit under the weather, so he most likely won't be joining us. But if he does, he might try to give it a go for a little while. Either way, man, it's a happy time for us Philadelphians. The underdog Eagles have another shot at bringing the Lombardi Trophy home to the crib. And, of course, we're all here for it. We'll recap the championship games, give out our initial thoughts on Super Bowl 52, and discuss some other big news in the world of sports. So settle in, keep it locked right here, and to get in on the conversation, you know what to do. Just make sure you join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room, or you can join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports. You can also join us on the GroupMe app. Just if you have GroupMe on your phone, just go search for War Room Sports Game Time, and you can join us there as well. You can also call us directly in about 5 minutes when we open up the Digital Extreme Tech hotline. That number, as usual, is 323-410-0012. Quick reminder before we get it started during the week, we're not live on the air. Be sure to check out archive episodes of our show at warroomsports.com, the War Room Sports free mobile app, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, and most other places you consume your wonderful podcasts. We are still down as far as the War Room Sports Podcast Network is concerned, but we will have that back up and running at some point in the first quarter of this year. So bear with us because I know you guys out there are missing some of your favorite shows. What up, B? You cancel your Netflix account yet? Shout out to Monique.
Yo, absolutely. $500,000 isn't enough for anybody in these days and times, man.
Even when you haven't done a damn thing. Yo, Monique is tripping, man. I don't want to pile on because she's getting murked online, so I don't really want to pile on. But the basis for her argument is kind of skewed. I mean, she said there was colorism and sexism at work, but then she uses Amy Schumer as an example that kind of squelches the sexism argument, and then she uses Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock as another example, and that kind of squelches the whole colorism thing. But what she doesn't realize, it's all about who's hot right now. You know what I'm saying? She's not in position. She's not coming with the kind of smoke that an Amy Schumer, because nobody's saying that Amy Schumer is funnier than Monique. What Netflix is trying to tell her is that Amy Schumer is hot right now. She comes with millions of fans already built in, so they're figuring, we can pay Amy this because she's going to give us that return on investment. Now, you pay that kind of money to Monique, you might just be wasting money. Because when's the last time, B, you checked for a Monique comedy special? I have no clue what's going on here. B, can you hear me? Yeah,
I'm here.
This thing is already. Yeah, but you sound like you're underwater, good brother. I have no clue what's going on. Technical.
We getting told already. I think Monique is absolutely tripping. And I'm hoping that she comes back to reality.
Yeah, you sound terrible. Yo, you sound terrible.
Oh, right now.
You got to stop talking, immediately. All right, so, yeah, try something. I have to hold it down while you're trying that. But, no, shout out to Monique, for trying to get folks to go along and do this with her. But it's just not realistic, at this particular moment in history. And we could go on and talk about this for a long time, but it's not really important in the big scheme of things. You guys came here to talk about sports. Like I said in the open, we're ecstatic right now because our underdog Philadelphia Eagles have punched a ticket to Super Bowl 52. This was unexpected. At the beginning of the season, I didn't have any extra confidence in the Eagles that, folks, the prognosticators who, pick the NFL and are around the NFL for a living had about the Eagles. They were looked upon as maybe an 8-8, 9-7 team at the most. We took calls back then. I think the best we got was 10-6, and all of these weeks later, going back to the Super Bowl for a rematch of Super Bowl 39 versus those pesky, dynasty-laden New England Patriots. So we're gonna see how this goes.
No one saw us coming.
Not at all.
Snuck up on y'all.
We didn't even see it coming, but we're glad it's here, and we got one more game. Try to close this out and bring the first Lombardi Trophy back home to the city of brotherly love.
I don't know how to feel. I'm literally as close to being in shock over something that isn't relatively important. Obviously, it's vitally important to us as lifelong Eagles fans and Philadelphia sportsmen. I'm literally in shock that we're in the Super Bowl, guys.
Right. It's weird. We're not used to this. I'm sure on the other side, there's no shock at all because the Patriots seem to be in the Super Bowl every year. So, their fans are spoiled. That region, and Boston in particular, is literally title town, in my opinion. If you look at what all four of their major sports teams have done in this century. Absolutely. You have a lot of fans out there who like to brag about the success of their teams, but, that success came way back in the 90s, the 70s, back when dudes were in, middle school. Boston has a different story to tell because they've won several titles, all four major teams, quite recently. So, they're used to this. So I'm pretty sure it's a whole different approach. Right. It's a whole different approach to what their fans are going through right now versus fans in Philadelphia. All right, so let's get into these hot topics. Oh, go ahead. What'd you say?
Even so, and I know we got to dive into hot.
You sound like Trizzy.
When, oh, man, still.
Yeah.
Wow. Go ahead. Go to hot topics.
Hot topics are brought to you by Sports the Book. You guys tired of reading the same old sports books with the same sports lists, rankings, imaginary starting lineups, GOAT comparisons, all kinds of subjective information being passed off as facts? Well, be sure to pick up your copy of Sports. Smart people only read the sports. It's a mixture of sports and hip-hop culture to keep you on the edge of your seat and laughing like you're watching a comedy special. So just go to sportsthebook.com or get your copy from our website at warroomsports.com. Wherever you get it from, just make sure you don't miss the movement. And, later on in the show, we're definitely going to get deep into our initial thoughts of Super Bowl 52, and Fred Perdue is going to join us for that. As a matter of fact, I'm about to hit Fred Perdue now to see if he just wants to join us for the remainder of the show starting now. But right now we want to do a little recap of what happened this past Sunday in the championship round. And, it was an interesting championship round because Jacksonville, who, promised their fans through their sassy cornerback that they were going to the Super Bowl and they were going to win the Super Bowl. They fell short after starting the game pretty well, having a lead, but basically getting, as I like to call, patrioted. And the Atlanta Falcons fans know all about getting patrioted. Jacksonville, did you watch that game, B? All right. Well, anyway, Jacksonville, started the game pretty well, had a nice lead when the game started, but it was something that they couldn't hold on to. It's something that they couldn't hold on to, and, we've come to see that from opponents of the Patriots in big games lately. And it's just adding to the legacy of one Tom Brady, adding to the legacy of Bill Belichick, adding to the legacy of the Patriot franchise in general. And here they are again, back in the Super Bowl to do it all again. So it's quite interesting that we see this team year after year in the big game. And it just seems like there's no end in sight. Tom Brady's 40 years old, and they're still making the Super Bowl seemingly every year. They've been to the AFC Championship game so many times. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing because you saw what people may have perceived as fall off in the past few years, but then that never lasts long because when the Patriots don't make the Super Bowl, people assume, okay, that dynasty, that run is over, everybody's getting old, blah, 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 and then the next year they adjust.
They just go tool up.
Yeah, go tool up a little bit, make some adjustments, and they're right back in the big game the next year. But did you watch the game with them in Jacksonville?
Yeah, I did. I thought that Jacksonville was going to get out of there with a win, but to see Brady come back last year against the Falcons, being up 10 isn't enough, man. Isn't enough. And I think Jacksonville started to play not to lose more so than to go out and get a win, and it bit them in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, it reminded me a lot of what we used to be used to in Philadelphia in the Andy Reid regime. I've always thought Andy Reid was a great coach, but in situations like this where he has a lead, he gets conservative. And we saw different in Andy's protege, Doug Peterson, last week, but we'll get into that game in a couple of minutes. But we definitely saw different from Doug Peterson being a student in the Andy Reid camp. Jacksonville,
I think you're insulting Blake Bortles, though.
Why?
Go ahead. Blake Bortles, when comparing those two situations, he's a little better than the QB Andy Reid had. I'm just taking a shot, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's standard that you gotta take that shot, and then you take that shot as usual, and then I got trolls that come to me and tell me that I like Anglo-Saxon quarterbacks. It's like everything you say gets put on me. I don't know. Maybe you like the bully that scares everybody. Like, I don't care that B said it. I'm going to call Dev out. But, hey, it is what it is. So, on the other side of the coin, of course, and we got Fred Perdue is going to join us in a second to, to basically talk the championship rounds and later on the Super Bowl with us. Like I said, I just invited him to join the entire show if he had the time to do so. So let's get Fred on the line right now. Fred, you there?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
What's going on, Fred? And the interesting part about this is because, Fred and I, we do Cover 2 with McMillan and Purdue, our NFL show together. And since the network's been down, our fans haven't heard from us in quite a while. So, over the next few weeks of Super Bowl coverage, Fred is slated to join us to talk about this. But what makes it more interesting for you guys out there is that Fred just so happens to be a Patriots fan. B. Austin and myself just so happen to be Eagles fan. So not only are we going to give you analysis, but it ratchets up with a little bit of trash talk, considering our teams are about to go head up in a little less than a week and a half. But Fred, before we even get into all of that crap, we were talking about the Patriots and basically the run that they're on now. Anytime you guys don't make it to the Super Bowl, people start to think, okay, the run might be over, this might be it, and then you guys go and adjust, and then the next year you're right back in the Super Bowl. Jacksonville came out with a pretty good game plan. I don't think they were ready for the Bill Belichick type adjustments that happen quicker than people think. Like, I think everybody just expects the adjustments to be a halftime thing, and then they're going to come out with a different game plan that lasts the whole half. But he seems to be the guy that adjusts on the fly, and things can switch up any minute, any drive, at any time. Why do you think what Jacksonville was doing stopped working in that game, and the Patriots were able to come back and punch another trip to the Super Bowl?
Man, it starts with the running game. And for disclosure, I really gave Leonard Fournette a lot of hell for the last 4 years. Sir, I'm sorry.
Yes, you have.
I'm sorry. I don't say I'm sorry.
Starts with the running game and it ends with Fred in the bottom of the ocean.
I guess so, because, I got to give credit to where it's due, because, quite honestly, Patriots can't stop the run. Jacksonville realized that. They started running the ball. They started pounding, and they just said, we're going to run the ball. We're going to limit Blake Bortles' throws, and we're going to give him easy throws. But the thing is, I look at this game, and it's crazy how the NFL and I guess college football, kind of my domain, they go together, because that game resembled a lot of Alabama, Georgia, where one team came out hot, they came out with like their hair on fire, and they said, we're just gonna beat you into submission, and then the other team, the big bully on the block, says, not so fast. We're gonna stop this running game, and we're gonna force your young quarterback, both sides, both games, whether it's Jake Fromm at Georgia or Blake Bortles with the Jacksonville Jaguars, we're gonna force you to beat us. And I know you'll make more mistakes at some point. We have limited mistakes. And you're going to make a young quarterback mistake, and that's either not being able to fit it in the tight windows, getting sacked late, making bad throws. Either you're getting hit a little bit after the play, little small things that you may get in the first half. You don't get those in the second half, and it does help when you only get one penalty, I guess. That helps too.
It's funny. It's funny that you say that, because I know it's cliche, but so much of NFL playoff football is about the ability to erase mistakes and execute. The scores come down, but the problem in facing a Belichick team is twofold. They're not going to make mistakes, And when you make mistakes, they see it and capitalize on it. And so that's a double-edged sword that I think many teams and coaching staffs honestly they can't batten the hatches down and erase mistakes the way that these guys can.
I mean, it's also even if the Patriots make mistakes, they kind of get that stuff out early. Like the fumble by White. You know what I'm saying? But late in the game, after they've probably been chewed out on the sideline for even making a mistake, within that machine, it just seems like they're just a well-oiled machine that definitely executes late in the game and doesn't make the mistakes that the other team is going to panic and make because this team is making a run to come back. All right, so let's go to the other side for a minute, to the NFC Championship game. And first of all, first and foremost, Fred, I definitely got to give you your props altogether, because from day one, not like other people who started believing mid-season maybe, and not like me, a skeptical fan who just never believes it. Like I still won't believe it until game day comes and you actually see the Eagles out on the field. But Fred has kind of been touting this Eagles team all season from the door. When we thought they would be 8-8, 9-7, Fred and I did our picks show on Cover 2, and he picked the Eagles to win that division. And I kind of thought he was tripping. And then as the season was going on, Fred kept hitting me with the "I told you so. This team is better than you think." So I got to give you props on that. But I don't care how good you thought they were, and I don't care now. Now I can give myself credit for talking a lot of Eagles fans off the ledge after Week 13 when Carson Wentz went down. Because Bios and I, we've always had some semblance of confidence in Nick Foles when things are run to his strengths. So I didn't think it was over. Like, everybody thought, oh, it's over. It's just over. They don't even have a chance. So to be here, feels great after all of those people just counted us out. However, the goal isn't to just be here. It's one more game to win. But I don't care, Fred, how good you thought they were. And I don't even, we didn't even get to do the show after Carson Wentz went down, so I wasn't really sure on your feelings about the team after that. Nobody saw this past Sunday coming, 38-7.
No one.
In the NFC Championship game as the underdog at home to the Minnesota Vikings and that vaunted defense. Did you see any of that coming? Did you even think they could win that game with with the cards they've been dealt lately?
I didn't. I really didn't. And quite honestly, when Carson Wentz went down, I said, man, this is going to be a long way down. Because you're going to win the division. I mean, it's Dallas.
I mean, the division was won. The division was won at the end of that game. And
it's just, for me, when I look at how Nick Foles, you see a loss in there to Dallas, but no one cares. It's Week 17. But for me, Nick Foles, I just never trusted him. I knew he's Mr. Consistent, but he's never been take over like he did in the last game, in that championship game against that defense.
You see 27-2.
Really?
No, but even in 27-2, B. Even in 27-2, I gotta kind of agree with Fred. The way he played that game, this game looked like he had the confidence of Aaron Rodgers in this game. Nick Foles was out there showing off this game. He was. I actually rewatched the whole game today, but I've watched just the film of all of his throws several times during the week leading up to today. And, dude, we haven't seen that kind of confidence from him. I mean, we saw him throw 7 touchdowns against the Raiders some years back, but we've never seen this. I mean, the accuracy was there, the confidence, the movement in the pocket was there. He never seemed to get rattled. And we got to keep repeating how good and how highly ranked this defense is. The Eagles went 10 for 14 on third downs against a defense who was number one in the history of the NFL on third down efficiency. So it was crazy, man. Some of those throws were just borderline ridiculous.
I'm gonna give Fred his props as well because he's been pretty high on the Eagles for quite some time. I don't want our fan base to mistake this for a reach around because I am going to take a dookie on Fred's forehead later on in the program. But he definitely has been a great objective analyst of the Eagles.
All that's going to go out the window this week, though.
Yeah, for me this season, he's about to backtrack on everything good he's ever said about the Eagles this season. But I couldn't see us here just due to the fact that last season I actually believed that the Cowbums were more than what they were. Like I bought into that. I bought into the skill position players in New York, and I thought that it was going to be a battle of those two teams used to put the Washington professional football team above us. So I picked us to be third. And so now kind of coming back to the game and that statement's relevance on this championship game, if you look at the decision that Howie Roseman, including bringing Nick Foles back and understanding that there was a possibility of this situation occurring, in his mind, that was an amazing decision because when you look at Nick Foles as a starter, perhaps you're saying, he shouldn't start. But when you look at him as a backup, you're like, he's the best backup in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm telling you, people saying the praises of Case Keenum all season. Now, what did I say? I definitely, when we had conversations with Eagles fans, and this is before Carson Wentz got hurt, and people were like, when the playoffs come, I don't want any parts of Minnesota. And I'm telling people, I don't fear Minnesota. I mean, their defense is cool, but I have the confidence that at some point, and it may be before we even get to them, that Case Keenum is going to turn back into Case Keenum. And we've seen it, but they've been so good in beating teams the way they were that those few times a game when Case Keenum would throw a ball up for grab, nobody would really notice because the game wasn't really on the line when he did it. But playing against a defense just as good as his, it all showed. Shut that dude down.
And I know that how good the Vikings team defense was. It was grand. It really was. But when I analyze position for position,
they got exposed on Sunday.
Is Harrison Smith and Sendejo as their safety tandem a little overrated? Are they a little overrated? Because
that's the same question I had, B.
I see what both of them do close to the line of scrimmage, and if you've been listening to the War Room for any length of time, I really analyze play. And I see what they do. The closer to the line of scrimmage they go, those two guys are heady players who diagnose plays well, but the further away they get from the line of scrimmage, the less effective they are as defensive backs and safety men, and that's not something you want from your safeties. I realize in today's game, safeties are more in one-on-one coverage now more than ever. Our safety tandem of McLeod and Brother Malcolm, I take them over Harrison Smith and Sendejo, especially Sendejo. I don't think they're better than Malcolm Jenkins and Rodney McLeod, and I thought that they did a great job of isolating them one-on-one with Zach Ertz and one-on-one with Nelson Aguilar, and they have nothing for either one of those dudes.
Well, what I'm going to say to that, B, and, because I had those exact same thoughts. Like the word overrated went through my mind a lot when they were getting torched on Sunday. But you know, I don't like to make a rash decision, and I will admit, you know, even though I have watched them, you know, several times this season, I haven't sat back and really studied the games of Zendejo and
well, I can tell
safety.
you, I've studied Zendejo. He's trash. Smith
no,
is
so I wasn't ready to make a rash decision. I was just going to chalk it up to them being thoroughly outcoached and just having a bad game. Now, if what happened on Sunday starts to become a trend as next season wears on, because maybe people have the film that they need to crack, you know, that nut, then it might be a different thing. You know, they may have been exposed. So we'll see if, you know, it was just a bad game, they were thoroughly outcoached or exposed.
Our offensive line may on the low deserve MVP of the Eagles as a unit, because their ability to protect Nick Foles, who ain't going to move around like a Carson Wentz, was amazing. And I honestly believe when I watched the secondary of the Vikings, the way their secondary covers, they believe that the front seven is going to get there. And so they're used to covering for 2 and 3 seconds. When you go out beyond that 3-second line, they're not used to running with people that long, and Xavier Rhodes was injured in that game. And so I think they had to do more as a secondary than they were used to, because Nick Foles was getting time to throw the ball on double moves and long routes.
Right.
So they weren't ready for that. That's not what they're used to.
All right, so we got some calls on the line, so let's get to the phone lines real quick before we move on from the championship games. We got Rob out in Cali calling in.
No, Rob can't come on. Rob can't come on the show unless he's apologizing. He can't come on unless he apologizing to Dev. He can't.
I don't need that.
Apologize.
I got bars for him if he don't. Rob, you there? Can you hear us? Uh-oh. Doesn't look like it picked up. I don't know what's going on. All right, Rob, can you hear us? Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey, man. Why can't we be friends? Come on, man.
Man,
are you happy this week? Are you happy this week? Or are you calling to criticize?
Yo, I'm as happy as when I was watching Carson Wentz highlights. Y'all know what meme I'm talking about, man. But anyways, yo, how y'all doing, man?
Man, I'm waiting for that apology.
We're great.
I'm waiting for you to apologize to Dev and Nick Foles. That's the only reason why I
okay, I will say this.
That's the only reason I came to work today.
It's cool, because you know what? He could even feel that way now, but if Nick Foles goes to Super Bowl and stink it up, Rob just going to call us like, I told you so. Like, you know, like Nick hasn't brought us or led us. I ain't going to say brought us because the team. Nick Foles don't have to stink it up in the Super Bowl.
It doesn't matter what Nick Foles does.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be over 5 weeks ago. We weren't supposed to win with Nick Foles.
I mean, my thing is this: when I saw this quarterback,
your thing is what, an apology?
When I saw Carson Wentz and how he was developing, I was like, this is a team of destiny. Not also that everybody's improving. You see the defense is getting rest on the field because they're converting on third downs. You know, we just see the offense clicking together. We just see us win close games against the Giants and against the Redskins. You know, put them on their foreskin. And I just see a guy out there just like this is once in a lifetime players that we get at this time. You know. With Nick Foles, you know, and I will give VR for this because he tried to tell. I was hard-headed, but he tried. We'll get to that in a second. But Nick Foles, I just saw ever since I don't know if people remember 2 years ago since the loss to the Cardinals game, I saw dude's confidence low. I saw him just regressing with the turnovers. And I seen turn over the ball all the time throughout the season, and he wasn't even starting. And he was fumbling the ball.
Are you talking about him playing for the Rams?
No, I'm talking about when he would fumble. I think it was a Cowboy game. He fumbled, and the Cowboys ran out for a touchdown. Or I think it was either that game or it was the Denver game. It was one of those two games.
Listen, I tried to explain to you, but Dev also tried to explain to you, which is why you owe Dev an apology. But we tried to explain to you. It's not that I think that Nick Foles is some grand or great QB. He's not the answer. He's not someone that you can get behind like a Carson Wentz. Like Carson Wentz, I believe, God willing, injury God stay away, he could be it, like literally it for the NFL for some time to come. Nick Foles is not that guy. What I was telling you is Nick Foles in the right system with the right talent around him is a quality QB. Borderline really a starter for a certain – he's a starter in a scenario where the talent of the team is overwhelming. You can start Nick Foles. He's an accurate passer. He could push the ball down the field. Now, is he going to go out and win football games on arm talent alone?
Definitely not.
With a bad line? No, absolutely not. But is he, if you plug him into the right system, he can win you football games.
He's a nice backup.
As a part of a larger team.
He's supposed to be doing, being a good backup in situational football.
I mean, because the thing you missed that you said before that I really wasn't. The thing that you said before weeks ago, you said it was the coaching, and I did not believe. I believe he already reached his ceiling. I just didn't believe that the coaching could just turn his mechanics around. And when I saw the Raiders, because this game impressed me.
Nothing wrong with his mechanics.
Atlanta, not as much as but just when I saw against the Raider game, against the Raider and the Cowboy game, I was really concerned. I wasn't concerned with the Giants game because the Giants are a pretty bad team. Even though they have talent around them on the defense side of the ball, you know, people know they spend big money on the defense. He was, it was whatever.
Rob,
you were concerned that game because he played well that game. The bad games are going to concern you. The good games, you're going to, act like they didn't happen.
Yeah.
But
what problem
if you look at the Raiders game and you look at how plays are being called now, they hadn't adapted the playbook to him. They plugged him in, and he was just supposed to continue what Carson Wentz was doing. That's another reason I told people, I don't even know if that was purposely, while they were just trying to run vanilla packages like they were back in the preseason, since they pretty much had the division wrapped up. And in order to win the bye and then to maybe take a shot at getting the number one seed, the schedule ahead of them wasn't too daunting because they had already beaten anybody or even lost to anybody who was good on the schedule. So by the time he came in, all of the tough games are pretty much gone. The Raiders game was iffy because the Raiders don't have a good record, but they have the potential to be good because we know we saw them good last year.
Yeah, they got
so
talent.
I was kind of thinking that they were running a vanilla package throughout the rest of those games just because, they had to get another quarterback ready for the playoffs. And it looked like like that might have been what
I'm going to do you one better than that. See, the problem with Rob, as with most fans, the skill positions, right? So no doubt Nick Foles played great in that Raiders game. I saw 5 throws that he probably wants back. But the O-line played like trash against the Raiders.
And then they were turning the ball over, all kinds of stuff.
He can't run.
Nick Foles
Nelson Aguilar has a problem. That's how it is.
You can't do the same thing schematically with a Nick Foles who's 6'6", 240 that a dude like Carson Wentz can do, who is a very athletic quarterback.
Carson went somewhere back in his lineage in the caves is related to Aaron Rodgers' family. Like they have the same type of.
They do.
Nick
They really
Foles does not have that. My man.
Nick Foles is slew-footed, man.
Aaron Rodgers has had a bad offensive line since he got in the league, and them dudes go to the Pro Bowl and go to Hawaii. Like it's different when you got, as you said, Nick Foles is slew-footed. My man runs rollouts, and it takes him 5 seconds to go 7 yards on a rollout. Like, come on.
Stop being so disrespectful, but it's so true, though. It's so true, though. I mean, you can't do some of the things, those little things you can't do, moving the pocket, changing the launch point, being able to run the same kind of play. They have the same arm, but it's a little bit different when you can make a guy be on the run.
I didn't even know our offensive line. I didn't even know our offensive line could pass block until Nick Foles got in, because to be quite honest, the games I saw, Carson Wentz, he's just that good. I don't know whether I knew we could run block, but even before Peters went down, I know how good Lane Johnson is. I know how good Jason Peters is, Hall of Famer. But I didn't know if our O-line was really, really this good, because when your QB is getting pressured, and it doesn't matter, that takes so much pressure off the O-line. You don't know whether they're good or bad because he's making plays. So now the O-line has to do their job. They got to do their job.
Also, big up to the defense. I mean,
all that said, cuz, you going to apologize to my man, though?
I need an apology, too, man. Where my apology at, man? I'm just... we throwing Madden plays out of all that said Nick Foles,
the defense,
or Carson Wentz.
The defense adjusted quickly too, because on that first drive of the game, they got pushed around by a team with a running game that's not that great. You know, the only thing, and people say it all the time about the Vikings, like the running game is not great. The good thing about them is that they never give up on the running game. But they came out, smoking. And then on the touchdown throw, the Eagles weren't even ready. There should have been a timeout called before that touchdown throw. You call that timeout and you get everything together, the final score might have been 38-3.
It's a linebacker. It was a linebacker as well.
I want to throw a flag on that. The Vikings don't have a running game because, quite honestly, they don't have running backs that can actually find the holes. Because when Dalvin Cook was in for the few games he was in,
right.
I want to throw a flag on that one because Latavius Murray, he's trash. I don't know for what reason they thought because he's a bigger back and he was going to be great and he was good in Oakland. Not really.
But that's the Dalvin thing, Fred. They didn't give up on the running game as if Dalvin Cook was still back there. Like they forgot Dalvin Cook got hurt.
Yo. My man McKinnon ain't bad, but he's the same size as my 9-year-old son.
Yeah, no, McKinnon is like, he's a utility back. He's a good receiver out of the backfield and all that kind of stuff. So, that's his thing.
Yeah, my concern with the defense coming into the next game is the defensive play calling is, are they going to give them that slant route and that in because Jim Shorts at times.
My concern with the defense is Gronkowski concussed or not. I need that boy to be concussed.
Let's be honest. Even if he is concussed, he's not concussed.
I don't think
he's not going to miss the Super Bowl. I don't care what he is. He's not going to miss the Super Bowl.
I don't think the Eagles are going to play the dumb Seattle Seahawks arrogance and just put like a linebacker on them like they did, and Malcolm Butler got pulled
No. That's what we got.
Malcolm Jenkins is going to be all over him. Yeah. And you're gonna have to put Kendricks on him on top of that. You're gonna have to bracket the coverage. You're gonna have to really. That's really all you can do.
Hey Rob, though, we gotta move on. Don't worry, we're gonna be covering the Super Bowl, this week, next week, and we're gonna have a pregame show the morning of the Super Bowl. So you'll get all your points out leading up to the game. But we gotta roll now, all right?
You gonna apologize though? I ain't hear that apology though,
brother. I admit to
not admission. Not admission. We know. I need the apology, brother.
Me also, I will right in a second. And I wish I could have said something back, but my pastor, people from church was looking at the tag I was in, so that's the reason I didn't say nothing. But I do apologize for what I said about to Des in the B office. I was wrong as far as my analysis. I was a little bit more passionate. I should have analyzed it more because I think and we ought to consider that coaching matters. Coaching does matter.
All right, and you got to chill with all of that. Dev only like white quarterback stuff. You really got to chill with that. That's gonna get hands put on you. You really need to chill with that. You really do. Dev speaks objectively. Hold up. I speak objectively about whatever quarterback we're talking about. So if I don't like your favorite black quarterback, then he just happens to be black. Hey, tell him to stop being a bum, Rob. Tell him to stop being a bum. Has nothing to do with the color of his skin because I don't hear any of y'all. I don't hear you say any of that when we ripping Blake Bortles apart, or we're talking about other dudes like that. I don't hear any of that. But as soon as we tell you that such and such Raheem Devon is overrated or something, then we hate black quarterbacks. Chill with that. First of all, you be saying that on social media,
one good black
and people gonna start believing you, even though I don't think anybody takes you seriously. But people gonna start believing you, and I'm gonna have to make a trip to L.A. Stop playing, man. You messing with my reputation saying stuff like that.
His card back? Does he get his fan card back, or we sending him to Siberia and Cleveland?
He got to earn that, man. We still got a week and a half to the game. So we'll holler at you, man. We got more calls on the line. All right, Rob. We'll holler at you next week.
Shout out to Tobias, man. And
hey, Rob, we had to cut you.
We got to get to Tobias real quick. He's taking up everybody's time.
I wasn't gonna let him go till he apologized.
Tobias, what's going on, man? You're in the war room.
Man, roll down Tide, gentlemen. Hey, since my Tampa Bay Buccaneers are officially eliminated from 2018 playoffs because this team went 5-11, the worst defense of football, and fired nobody. Bring everybody back like it's all good. I'm done if this year root for them. Go to hell, dirt cutter. But let me hit these games real quick. First, the problem with Jacksonville is this is why they should not give Blake Bortles money. They did not trust him to even attempt to make a play to win that game. If you can't trust your quarterback to throw a ball, don't sign him. Let him go. Get somebody else. Because that game was there for the winning if you weren't afraid. You're better off going down swinging instead of going around here scared like Tyler Hansbrough when he ran away from Man of World Peace that time.
Playing not to lose instead of playing to win. The old cliche.
And you still lost. But like the Eagles and the Vikings, I thought that if the Vikings got home field, they could make the Super Bowl. But they didn't get it, and Case Keenum went Case Keenum. But the thing is, I've been saying it all year, coaching matters. Nobody said Nick Foles was trash until he started playing for Jeff Fisher, who killed, who pretty much bastardized every quarterback, including the late Steve McNair. That's when everybody thought he was trash.
Tobias, you know more about offense than Jeff Fisher, sir. I will say that much. You know more about offense than he does.
Yeah, Jeff Fisher is where quarterbacks go to die. Obviously.
Yeah, you know what?
Jeff Fisher is the beneficiary of white privilege because there's no way he should still be an NFL coach.
Well, not now, but
he's working for the NFL.
He was for so long. Like, it took so long. I never understood why it took so long. I mean, shout out to Marvin Lewis, though. Shout out to Marvin Lewis and black privilege. Shout out to Charlamagne the God, too.
Marvin Lewis had some kind of paper, pictures, something on somebody because there's no way you can keep your job.
Marvin Lewis was in the building when his owner was doing some kind of homosexual act, and
for black
he don't want. He don't want it to get out.
My show.
You know what, though? I'll say this, though. Like, you watching the Eagles and see, like, the thing is that I always talk about team building as well. Look at how they got Jay Ajayi up, all pro-level running back for a 4th or 5th round pick. Keep improving the team. Keep making your life at quarterback easier. They were physical on both lines. And so they didn't have – so Nick Foles, he had a great game, but he didn't have to be great because they built that team of good defense, good physical offensive line play. And that, to me, that's part of team building right there. And that shows they making the Super Bowl despite that star quarterback getting hurt.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's amazing. Like you said, he played great against the Vikings, but they probably didn't need all of that. He probably should have saved some of it. Because I do believe.
Hey, can I say this? Because I know you guys got to run to Fred Purdue, you know, and brag about Tom Brady, you know, and how everybody's supposed to be scared of Tom Brady. Like I like Elaine Johnson said, hey, we don't come out there and say, hey, Tom, thanks for having us here. But here's the thing.
Right. Not a field trip.
Can we talk about LeBron in Cleveland real quick? I remember
last year. That's where we were going next, so go ahead.
Hey, remember I took all that heat last I took all that heat last year saying the Celtics should let go Isaiah Thomas, do not pay him. He's nothing more than Earl Boykins. Earl Boykins was a pretty good NBA player, but that's all he was. The dude is, just because he put up good numbers, he ain't Kyrie. And that's what people got, like, right.
He's a very one-dimensional player because, you know, Kyrie isn't a good defender. But there's a difference between not being a good defender and being a straight-up defensive liability, where the team has to hide you and, you know, you're basically playing 4-on-5 on that end of the court. So, yeah, I mean, I was with you. I was that person saying there's no way, and B also used to say the same thing, there's no way you can give Isaiah Thomas the max. So the whole thing with the Celtics and him being traded and them wanting to honor him and all of that, you know, like we talked about last week, that was definitely all guilt because Isaiah Thomas, even if that Kyrie Irving trade didn't go through, going to be a Celtic for that much longer because he was going to decline what they were probably going to end up offering him, because if they're a smart organization, they would have never offered him max. But the fact that Kyrie became a malcontent and demanded a trade, it put Danny Ainge right where he needed to be, because when it comes to Kyrie, you have to say, oh, man, we had to pull the trigger on that. We love Isaiah Thomas and blah, 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 but we had to pull the trigger on that. They just saved them from having to embarrass this man later on when contract time came along.
Max money on a 5'9" guy that can't put a lob pass into the post. Just saying.
Yo, that's
he's 5'7". Can we be honest? He's 5'7".
What Shannon say? What Shannon say? Unless she was being guarded by a fire hydrant. That's the only way you can put a lob into the post.
And you know what, guys?
There's also a lot of talk that Isaiah Thomas is a bad teammate. And that goes around. I think that there are some folks that have been interviewed that have backtracked on that. But there's a lot of scuttlebutt around the league that dude thinks very, very well. We see that he thinks very, very, very highly of himself.
I'm gonna get to that point too. Let Tobias finish, and we'll get into that.
Yeah, because I got to roll. I'll say this. I'm tired of everyone saying, "Well, LeBron's bad. They didn't make the Paul George or the Eric Bledsoe trade." Sorry, LeBron, you the GM. You should have made it happen, LeBron. But here's the thing.
Well, he couldn't. The moves that he made before put the team in a bad situation. And then he wants to know why he can't get these certain dudes. Like, don't work that way.
They traded 2 first-round picks with Mozgov. The dude wasn't even on the team 2 years later. They first got rid of him. They traded all these first-round picks.
And they gave Bumden Thompson all that money.
Yes, and I'll say
because LeBron basically held them hostage until they did it. LeBron refused to sign until they gave Tristan his money. Now it's backfiring.
And here's the thing, Dev. They keep talking about Nick Wright. LeBron's. I don't know. I can't even say the word on FCC airways. But the thing is, they keep saying it's the worst team. It's the worst team. These are all the guys LeBron wanted. These are all the people he wanted and wanted to get paid. And he trashed Kevin Love, but he wanted Kevin Love at first, and then he wanted to wait on Wiggins who gets you 20-some points a game, who could defend, who doesn't want to be the number one option. But yet you traded him because you couldn't wait 1 year for a guy you don't even really want anyway. Now,
that situation may have ended up being perfect just because of the last point that you made. He doesn't even want to be the number one option. Wiggins is still he's the most. He goes to a team where he's the most talented person on it, and he still falls back to like third fiddle on that team because he just doesn't want to be that dude. So great point.
My man.
My
bad, y'all.
LeBron James built teams are only built for 3 years. Just saying.
Yeah, if that these days. Yeah.
Hey, can I say this real quick? Chris Bosh.
Go ahead.
Can I say this real quick and I go? Chris Bosh was right to Kevin Love when he said he's going to make you a standstill, 3-point shooter, and everything is your fault. They blame everything on Chris Bosh, who's putting 20-plus and 10 a game, but they turned him to Kyle Korver. Now he sucks. But you guys have a good one.
And without Chris Bosh, you don't have a pass to Ray Allen in the corner.
We'll next week. All right, so we'll stay on this whole NBA stuff. Since he already got us into the whole Cleveland stuff, the Cavs are in straight up disarray. And to B. Austin's point about Isaiah Thomas, at this team meeting that they had, this players-only meeting, it was said that Kevin Love became the target, and teammates were starting to doubt him. You know, basically saying when he left the game the other night with an illness, people thought that he could have played. Now, you know, they've lost 10 out of their last 13 games. Winning cures all because, you know, they start winning these games and we won't hear any of this stuff anymore. But B. Austin, it was reported that Isaiah Thomas was the one who started the finger pointing at Kevin Love, which is weird to me because, you know, you have no tenure on this team. You just you've played like 5 or 6 games. They haven't been good ones. And you're already acting like you're LeBron's sidekick and you have the right to point fingers at Kevin Love. When he left a game with an illness because he claimed, you know, he didn't want to pass it on to anybody else, so he did what he had to do. But apparently the little dude called him out, and I guess a few people on the team backed him up, and Kevin Love became the target of this players-only meeting. If I'm Kevin Love, I'm using this as ammunition because I'm pretty sure he wants to get out of there because Kevin Love really didn't want to re-sign there anyway. But, you know, you got people in your ear when you got LeBron and you got a chance to play in the finals every year. People are like, you know, why are you going to leave? Why are you going to sign elsewhere? Why are you going to do that? You're ungrateful and this and that. The same kind of treatment that Kyrie got. This is his way to be able to push out now. Like, you know, y'all going to blame me for all the stuff that's going on? All right, get me out of
here. Yeah. This is ugly. This is ugly, and we could do 2 hours on why this is ugly. Like we really could from a psychological and a behavioral standpoint. Isaiah Thomas, you've been here for 5 minutes, and you're talking tough, and you're divisively splitting the team. Isaiah Thomas, so I don't know how intelligent he is, but what this smells of to me is I'm self-conscious about the way I'm playing and what I'm contributing to. So I'm going to turn into a bully, and I'm going to point at this guy because I know I can get away with it. And then I'm going to play whatever cards I have to play to get the rest of the team on my side. And you know what those cards are. I'm not even going to say what it is. But play those cards to get them on my side, and we're going to point at the odd man out so no one's pointing a finger at me and, like, poop on the stick.
And excuse what I said earlier. This wasn't a players-only meeting because they said Ty Lue was there and General Manager Kobe Altman was also in attendance at this meeting. So
I was going to say, if it hadn't been for Kobe Altman, I still would have considered a players-only meeting, even with Ty Lue. He ain't nothing but a player. He's not a real coach.
LeBron, so for me, when I look at how this is going down, and we've been, how many times have we said Kevin Love doesn't this, Kevin Love doesn't this, and he doesn't do that? I mean, they've been wanting to scapegoat him for, 3 years now? And now they have their out.
Kevin Love is a baller. Kevin Love is a baller. And the problem is when you evaluate him in terms of being a first option or a team, a guy you build around, he doesn't stand up with the other guys. When you move him into the role of being the second option, he's looking pretty damn good. When he's your third option, Kevin Love is the effing man as your third option. So I'm looking at these guys like y'all have been playing basketball all your lives. Y'all know this dude can play. Y'all know he's more valuable than IT. Come on, man.
I mean, a big that can and he can post up. That does miracles for your team.
And he can rebound.
And he can rebound when you're not camping him out.
He can give you 10 to 12 rebounds or more every game. I mean, at least you have this who can stretch the floor versus Tristan Thompson.
Our lives is not correct because we are better at whatever we do than Tristan Thompson is at basketball. So we got to get more money. I'm better than Tristan Thompson at whatever. I'm not going to say I'm a better rebounder, but I'm better at whatever I do in life than he is at playing basketball.
He's a one-dimensional player. And that's, I mean, you have the specialized role players, but he's not worth the money. He was never worth the draft pick. And quite honestly, if LeBron they didn't share the same agent, he might not be worth the money. So he wouldn't have the contract he does. LeBron is getting to the point, and you guys know, I'm a LeBron guy. I will stand on a table, bang my hand on the table for LeBron as one of the best players ever. But at the same time, it seems like almost like he's a team killer because his team lasts, like I said, for about 3 years, and then his teams instantly get old. He takes care of his guys and he doesn't want young guys on the team. Andrew Wiggins was a much better option than an old D-Wade or a broken down Rob.
And then he leaves, and then a lot of other guys don't re-sign.
And then everything's his fault, or everybody
and then it's
else's
like a barren wasteland what he left behind. That's why you have to give.
No.
I mean, we already know the pedigree of Pat Riley, but you got to give Spo some credit right now. The Miami Heat are,
as the resident Miami Heat fan. Yes, I know.
Right, they're in the top half of the Eastern Conference right now, and Spo is showing people like I can coach. I wasn't even when I won those 2 titles, I wasn't given a chance to coach because of the personalities that he had on the team being a brand new coach. But he's showing you now, like, there's something in there. He's not
half a
stupid.
game behind Cleveland right now. I mean, and
and
they're doing it with role guys. They're doing it with nobody. Even Whiteside isn't really I don't even see him as a legit starter on a good team. If you put him on a good team, I might say nah. I mean, he's a rebounder.
Right, I see what you're saying. Like, Whiteside can play, and he's an overachiever to where he started in the league. But Whiteside isn't what Whiteside thinks he is.
Yeah, Dion Waiters is definitely not what he's not. He's not a top player.
Dion Waiters, Dion Waiters thinks he's better than Michael Jordan. So Dion thinks he's better than Mike. So. All right, so let's run off some of these other topics so we can get back to the big game. Just quickly, I just want to give a quick shout out to the new Baseball Hall of Famers. You got Chipper Jones, Vladimir Guerrero, Jim Thome, and Trevor Hoffman. They were all elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame, which was announced on Wednesday. Of course, the glaring omissions, as they are every year and probably going to be every year from now on, Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds, who respectively got 57.3 and 56.4% of the votes to get in, which was not enough. But shout out to the guys who did end up getting in. It's crazy. I mean, those guys are probably, I don't know if it's going to be a never, because at some point you're going to be left with the younger crop of reporters doing the voting, and they're going to be the ones that basically say, okay, this whole steroid era thing is not as serious as you all made it out to be. Look at these guys' numbers. Look what they did. We're going to vote them in. So at some point you're going to get to that when you get these old fogey purists out of the voting booth. But shout out to the 4 who made it to the Hall of Fame. Jason Kidd was fired by the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo claims that he's a little bit uncomfortable with it because he claims to be a loyal guy. It would seem, though, with the way his star is shining and taking off, that he could have maybe had some say in the whole thing if he really was that uncomfortable with it. What say you guys?
Yeah.
Or is he just too young
and
too soft-spoken to have an opinion right now?
If you give him the benefit of the doubt, then he doesn't. I think if you give him the benefit of the doubt, then I'm going with you, Fred. I think that he didn't realize how to leverage his power. I think that he didn't mind Jason Kidd being fired. He just feels bad about it because as a young boy, this is his first NBA coach. He's probably been taught to respect authority. He still has a little bit of a kid's mentality with the way he looks at a coach. So he feels bad, but he's smart enough that if he really, really didn't want it to happen, he could have went to the front office and stopped it. So I think this is just his conscience causing him to speak up and speak out as opposed to him really not wanting it to happen.
Right. I feel you. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't seem like the kind that's going to be all outspoken right now. I mean, there were some cats on the team. Kilpatrick, he tweeted, and there's no, we don't know 100% he was talking about that, but after the announcement was made, he tweeted something like, "Thank God," or something like that. So I don't know. I look at the situation, and I'm purely speculating. Jason Kidd is a different type of dude. He's from a different type of cloth, and I don't think the players of today can relate to them in the same way that they relate to some of the other coaches out here who cater to them. Even if they're from a different era, they kind of cater and conform to what's going on today. And I don't think Jason Kidd is that type of dude. So I can see, just by knowing who he is, I can see how he can rub some of these new age dudes the wrong way, and they would want to get him up out of there. These days, all you got to do is demand that your team play defense, and they'll hate you forever. So,
what I do hate is when it comes to these, it really doesn't matter what sport it is. It could be basketball, football, baseball. The coaches that, like you said, do demand a level of success, excellence. They expect certain things. Get on defense. Come in and put up some extra shots. Throw a couple extra passes when no one's looking. Go to batting practice when no one's paying attention to you. These things are lost upon the young generation of athletes. And the thing about it is they cater to them not knowing that they're under contract. They kind of have to do what you tell them to do in a sense. And if they don't like it, they can go to a team like Portland and still be in low 8 seed or not in the playoffs at all. If that's what your prerogative is to make the playoffs in whatever league you're in, you really have to. The greats want to be great. They do all of these things, but you have a lot of average NBA players now, and I'm not calling Giannis average, but there's a lot more average than there is successful NBA players. So.
No doubt. All right, so we'll see if Jason Kidd lands anywhere else. That's his second coaching stop. The All-Star reserves were named, and actually the vote took place. Not the vote. LeBron James and Steph Curry, who are the captains of the teams, picked their teams. So first, I'll just give you guys the All-Star reserves. You can tell me if there's any names out there that you think should have been in and who they should have made it over. In the East, you have Bradley Beal, Al Horford, Kevin Love, Kyle Lowry, Victor Oladipo, Kristaps Porzingis, and John Wall. In the West, you have LaMarcus Aldridge, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, Damian Lillard, Klay Thompson, Karl Anthony Towns and Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook went to bat for his teammate Paul George in saying that he should have been on the roster. He said he took a shot, a little bit of a shot at Dame Lillard, because he said, you got guys that should make it that didn't make it, and then you got guys who complain every year about getting snubbed until they get in. So that was clearly a shot at Dame Lillard. And Paul George said some interesting things about Russell Westbrook, and he was saying stuff like that is making the decision I have to make much easier when you know that a guy like this has your back. So he might end up staying in Oklahoma City if what he's saying is legitimate.
Let's be serious. First off, I don't think Russell Westbrook wants some Damian Lillard problem on or off the court. On the court, you could easily see those types of problems. And Damian Lillard, them bars is real. So I mean, I don't think he wants it either way.
I saw Dame Lillard punk a whole crowd of people standing outside the arena.
Dame is a throwback in terms of his attitude. I think that his old heads taught him well, so I'm glad to see that he made it. And he does speak his mind about being snubbed. I think that Westbrook takes that as an affront because there have been times when they were in direct competition for that spot. I don't think that's now or currently. So I think they have a little thing going. As far as snubs, the first snub that I see is definitely Lou Williams. Lou Williams is leading the Clippers in scoring at 23.2 a game off the bench. He's dropping 40 in there. He's dropped 50. He is shooting 44.8, basically 45 from the field, 40 from downtown, and 90 from the line. Obviously, this is his very best season in the league. I don't think
who does he replace?
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler?
I know, that's the question. Jimmy Butler.
Klay Thompson?
Yeah, I would say Jimmy.
Dame Lillard?
Jimmy or Klay. I'd say Jimmy Butler. I'd say Paul George is a snub.
But who you?
I would not.
If you put Paul George in, I want to stop you. I'm just curious.
Mm-hmm.
No, because that's my thing. We can always say snubs, but you got to look at the list. You got to tell me who these guys are going to replace. And I'm with you.
You taking off Al Horford somewhere, or what you doing? I mean, DeMar DeRozan, he's having an all right season. I mean, who you taking out?
You have to take off people from the West, even though they're not playing East-West. They still made the team evenly East-West. So you either got to take off Marcus,
I got you.
Butler, Draymond, Lillard, Klay, Karl Anthony Towns, or Russell Westbrook. So it'd be difficult to get them in there.
Draymond.
And that's the thing. That's what Westbrook said. He said, one team got 4 people in, and then you got people in the game that's just complaining about getting snubbed until they make it, which is ironic because actually what you're doing is complaining about your teammate getting snubbed. So you're doing the same thing Lillard did the last 2 years. Ironically.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing.
Big well.
So Draymond. Draymond and Jimmy for Lou and Paul George.
Lou and Paul George, and I'm a little shaky on Paul George, but I'm gonna say that he's so much of a glue guy at a high level that I'm thinking that I put him in.
But Jimmy Butler, there is no better glue. Like they're giving him the credit for getting this young team, who couldn't do it before he came, for gelling these guys together and getting them in the position that they're in now.
No.
It's a hard call.
That's a great point. It's a hard call. Shout out to Tyreke Evans. I mean, my young boy Tyreke is averaging 19.4, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. Fred, I don't know if you follow basketball as closely as we do, but Dev, I know you're going to laugh at this. The Bulls shooting 38.8 from 3.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Remember Tyreke?
Boy, had no J.
None's a J.
Yeah, no.
So it's some guys.
Jimmy Butler averaging 21.7, 5.4 rebounds, and 5 assists. So I don't know. It's going to be hard to make a case to put somebody over him too. All right. So, any snubs for you, Fred?
For me, I would lean on the Paul George, but then at the same time, when I look at it, I'm like, who am I taking off? And
right.
LaMarcus Aldridge has had a solid season, so I can't really say him. I think that would probably be it, because I think a lot of times we get so enamored with names more than we do, because we're so used to names getting in.
For me, that's why I left Chris Paul off. Chris Paul is not an all-star to me.
He's not. Mr. Dribble? Mr. Dribbles a lot? Yeah, no. Definitely not.
And I got to go back to, Skyview in the chat room, he says Ben Simmons' numbers are better than Kyle Lowry's, minus three-point shooting, obviously. I'm just saying. Well, and even, I don't think, you really got to stand out for the coaches to put a rookie in the game. And even the three-point shooting, that's not really what people think. Like, Ben Simmons is 0 for 10 on three-pointers for the season, but Ben Simmons hasn't taken any three-pointers this season. All 10 of those shots were heaves from three-quarter court at the end of a quarter. And I think, a lot of announcers always talk about his three-point percentage and how, he's 0 for this, but I don't think they know that, because they're not watching the games. They're just seeing the statistics. He hasn't taken a traditional three. Ben Simmons is the epitome of stay in your lane. He's not even attempting to do what he knows he's not good at right now. So even his 0 for 10 is a little misleading, because Ben Simmons has never in an NBA game stood at the three-point line and pulled up for a three-pointer. All 10 of those shots, and I can attest to having seen all 10 of them, were three-quarter, half-court heaves at the end of a quarter.
Yeah.
So
I don't care about his three-point shooting. I don't think that defines you.
He doesn't either. Because he ain't trying to take none.
Andre Drummond is one that I missed for the East. Andre Drummond is averaging 15, 15, and 4. Get him, Dre.
I wanted to say that, but the thing is, when it comes to him, the entertainment value, I think that's part of it too. I think these players know they want to put on an entertaining game, and he kind of slows the game down. We don't believe in centers anymore. We believe in glorified power forwards playing center.
But Fred, never mind what they believe in. I'm talking about us right here. 15, 15, and 4. My man dishing out 4 dimes with 15 boards and 15. That's monstrous.
Those are old school monster numbers. Agreed, definitely.
What say you to Dre? And we can look at the East.
Oh, and going back to one of our other topics, Skyview said about IT, that man gave you 53 points after his sister died, played with a hurt hip like a soldier, and you trade him. That's not business. That's BS. No, that's the epitome of business. Because you're not making a decision based on. I'm about to say that you're saying that's not business. That is the definition of business. That means they did not make an emotional decision because of what he did for them.
No.
They made a business decision. Kyrie is better than this dude. I don't care what he did for us with his sister and all of that kind of stuff. That is pretty much the definition of a business decision.
Kyrie. Let me answer that this way too, because y'all touched on it. Kyrie Irving is a top 10 player? Definitely top 15 in the league. Yeah. Isaiah Thomas is top what? Isaiah Thomas is top what? What would you say?
Top nothing.
I give him he's top 40. Top 30 maybe. Top it's hard to even say top 30. I think I can name 30 players better than him. Top 40. You don't not make that trade if you have an opportunity to get a top 10 to 15 player for a top 40. Like you don't bat an island.
On the other end of that, though, if you're the Cavs and I'm Dan Gilbert, I'm saying my number one job is keep LeBron happy. And what does keeping LeBron happy do? It means Kyrie Irving, you're under contract for 2 more years. Figure it out.
No,
I didn't think Kyrie had the leverage. I thought that was going to happen. I thought they were going to say, shut the hell up and play. I was shocked when they actually made the trade.
Draft picks mean nothing in the NBA now. I mean, even we've seen it. I mean, with the way that college players are coming out, if you're not a top 3 pick, you're pretty much. It's very rare to find a guy.
That's a good point.
Yeah. But this one does. This one means the Nets pick that they have means a little something to them. That's why that's the leverage that they're trying to hold on to. But that's what everybody wants from them if they're going to send LeBron some more help.
But even then, the Nets they're climbing up. I mean, right now their pick is
Skyview's still arguing for IT. He's saying the Celtics, who I have absolutely no love for, were the number 1 seed last year because of IT. Okay, and they're the number 1 seed this year because of Kyrie.
And they better.
And Kyrie's a better player. Like, come on, that was the epitome of a business decision.
Ask Skyview, who's better, Isaiah Thomas or Kyrie Irving? That's number 1. Number 2, people in the league don't like Isaiah Thomas.
It don't matter what they like, B. Nobody even. And we were all impressed by the season he had last year because it takes a lot for somebody to score damn near 30 a game, especially when you're 5'7". But at the same time, there wasn't a lot of teams that are willing to pay him the max. I guarantee you, and I have no way to prove it now because the trade happened, but I guarantee you if the Boston Celtics and Danny Ainge are as smart as they claim to be, there was no way they were going to give this dude a max contract. Scoring, even when it's 29 points a game, is not enough when that's all you do. He is a defensive liability. And then you got dudes like Crowder, who they thought was going to be a big piece in this trade. He's not playing defense, halfway like he was playing last season, when they had to do so much making up and hiding of IT. So, props to his season last year. But there's really nothing to argue here. Somebody's offering Kyrie Irving for IT. If you don't make that decision because he played when his sister died, then you don't need to be running a franchise. Your ass need to be somewhere watching soap opera.
He's fooled by a season and a half. He's fooled by a season and a half.
IT is the reason why coaches are learning to be disconnected from their players. That is the exact reason why coaches do not have a relationship with their players. That way it is easy to say, nah, I'm good.
You offer me Kyrie Irving for IT, I'm driving IT to Cleveland, my damn self. Like, he don't need a plane, he don't need a bus, a train. I will give you a ride. You can pile up all your stuff in my sedan, and we out. All right, so let's move on from that. Shout out to LeBron James. He becomes the youngest player in NBA history to score 30,000 points. Now, scoring 30,000 points, there were only 6 other people in the league who's ever done that. Kareem, Kobe, Karl Malone, Michael Jordan, Wilt Chamberlain, and there's one more, Dirk Nowitzki. So joining that club is what I give LeBron props for. But, I've never really been a fan of the age stats because, these guys had a head start, obviously, coming straight out of high school. So with, how good LeBron was and how he started, it's obvious that he's going to break every age record there was. The fact that Kobe is the one who holds all the age records before LeBron, that's going to even make it that much easier because Kobe didn't even start until his 3rd season with the Lakers. So all of those age records are going to get obliterated. But what they should be talking about is, how many years did it take? How many games did it take? When you go to that, cats like Wilt Chamberlain and Michael Jordan blow everybody out of the water, on these stats. But shout out to LeBron forgetting the 30,000 because there's a lot of greats in the NBA, obviously, because there were only 6 people there in the first place that never made it to that milestone. So shout out to him for doing that when he still might have a good 5 to 7 years left, to be able to play at a high level. He might obliterate this record.
Jordan let a lot of people live that baseball stint.
Exactly. I mean, I think, honestly, the one thing you kind of have to take into account with LeBron is he's so passive. He chooses not to score when he needs to score, whereas Jordan, he was just, get out of my way. I don't care.
I'm sorry,
Get
Fred.
out of my way.
I don't mean to cut you off, man, but Skyview won't let us get off of this IT crap. Like, everything he says is worse. He said, I know he's your holy grail, but what happens if the Sixers discriminated against AI because of his heightened defense? Like, do we really have to answer that? Like, do I have to sit here and defend Allen Iverson and Isaiah Thomas being on the same level? Come on, Skyview. Are you serious? You saw this little man drag a team of no names to the NBA Finals. IT's not doing that. IT got a number 1 seed in a weak Eastern Conference that was gifted to them by LeBron and them resting players and not even going for it, and then basically got smacked when he went against them in the playoffs. Come on.
I'll put it to you like this. What was IT before Brad Stevens? I'll wait.
Oh, man.
Right.
A 6-man?
Because Allen Iverson was that the moment he stepped into the league. So, come on, man. It ain't got nothing to do with Holy Grail, and it don't have anything to do with Philly. You can ask that question to any fan in the country that have no love for Philly sports, and they might try to put pause on you, Skyview, man. Call me if they do that, because I got your back, because you my man, but they might try to put pause on you, man. Like, all right, we got to get off this IT thing, because the questions are getting crazier and crazier. Like, Allen Iverson and Isaiah Thomas, Isaiah Thomas too. I'm not disrespecting Zeke, but do I really have to justify and defend an Allen Iverson, Isaiah Thomas comparison? Come on, Skyview. You better than that. All right, quick stat of the week. Well, before we do, LeBron actually congratulated his younger self on IG when he was about to hit that 30,000-point milestone. So I don't know if LeBron is losing it or if he's bored when he's sitting at home, want to talk to the wife or something. But he went to IG, posted a photo of himself in his high school uniform, and wrote a little diatribe to himself that says, and I quote, he said, want to be one of the first to congratulate you on this achievement tonight that you'll reach. Only a handful has reached/seen it too, and while I know it's never been a goal of yours from the beginning, please try to take a moment for yourself on how you've done it. The house you're about to be a part of only has 6 seats in it as of now, but 1 more will be added, and you should be very proud and honored to be invited inside. There's so many people to thank who has helped this even become possible, so thank them all, and when you finally get your moment alone, to yourself, smile, look up to the higher skies, and say thank you. So with that said, congratulations again, young king. One love. Yo, who the fuck is LeBron talking to?
A letter to my younger self is about the only thing he could be doing right now.
I mean, that's what but why are you on IG talking to yourself? Attention is a hell of a drug. Attention is a hell of a drug. This man went on Instagram and wrote a paragraph talking to his younger picture. Brian, come on, man. Congratulations, King, but
and I know we're gonna get picked. We're gonna get pointed at. But I'd like to point out the fact that you're in the middle of a season, trying to get it right, and your priorities should be on fixing your team and getting to playoffs and the finals. And
he wrote himself on Instagram,
why are you doing this? Like, this is the stuff that Kyrie Irving has said to not like about LeBron. Like, he's a little soft. But
attention is a hell of a drug, man.
My man needs that attention.
When you're 3-7 in your last
Fred,
Brian like T.O. Brian like, I love me some me.
Fred, you got to explain, because we not from your generation, man. Explain your homie, man. Explain what's going on.
Hey,
Maybe
I don't get that, because I don't get that part, because that just LeBron has always been this cryptic message guy. I don't pay attention to social media and then turn around and put cryptic messages on here instead of just addressing people. I mean, LeBron makes a lot of things that LeBron does makes no sense, and I don't even try to figure him out at all anymore, because it just makes he does things that he says he'll never do, or he might criticize another player for doing, and then he does it himself. I quit a long time ago.
All right, man. Our stat of the week. And this is crazy, but, I mean, we'll get more into, like, because, you know, amazing stats always come out about NFL and Super Bowls around Super Bowl time. So there could be a million stats we could use. But I'm going to just go to Boogie's line the other night against the Chicago Bulls when he scored
40 and 40.
Oh, yeah.
When he scored 44 points, 24 rebounds, 10 assists, 4 steals, and a block. And I think it was triple overtime win against the Chicago Bulls. Shout out to Boogie, because I'm pretty sure he's tired of hearing people say stuff, and the player himself, Joel Embiid, say stuff like he's the best center in the league. While Joe is in that short conversation, ain't none of y'all better than Boogie. It's not right now. You got some time to go before you're better than Boogie. Boogie, on the other hand, gets a bad rap because of what, you know, his reputation with his attitude has always been. So it seems like people never really take what he does that seriously, because he seems to get overlooked in these conversations sometimes, except for, you know, for the people with the most common sense. But, you know, I've been in conversations where people just skip right on over Boogie, like he not standing there getting, like B said, 40, 40, 40, and 40. But shout out to him and the craziest stat line in the week.
To go off of that, the one thing, shout out to the silly reporter that decided to ask Anthony Davis after that game, did he have a problem with the amount of shots he got in that game when Boogie just went off?
You know, people are always trying to stir up something. You know, I think you build around them, too, because they've been talking about, there's been some rumors about Anthony Davis leaving in the trade, man. You got to keep them dudes together, put something around them. New Orleans can be special. It could be.
Low-key, that team could, if you put the right pieces around them, they could probably upset a Warriors team that plays a little bit fast and they're a little bit soft. They pass the ball well, but they're a little bit soft on the inside. Could be a real problem.
I mean, because they're going to create a mismatch on their side, just like Golden State creates mismatches on their side. So, you know, who knows? All right, before, real quick, while y'all were on the grind, of course, it's brought to you by DirecTV. If you'd like a better TV experience than cable has to offer, including some of the most extensive sports packages offered by any service, go to DirecTV.com. Go to yourself a better TV experience. If you call yourself a sports fan, then you most certainly got to have DirecTV. Now, we basically just run through the headlines because we want to get some time to get back to Super Bowl 52 and our initial game coverage before we're gone. But just a quick note, Larry Nassar has been sentenced to 140 to 175 years in prison. Over 150 women testified against him. You just don't understand how Michigan State and USA Sports, USA Gymnastics allow this type of thing to happen and to go on for such a long time. But just like I said last week when we talked about him, fellas, I see his life ending in suicide sometime soon, because when you're in jail for certain types of crimes, those dudes make your life a living hell, more so than the hell that's already being in jail for the rest of your life. He's quickly going to get tired of being beat up and raped. And I can guarantee y'all that we're gonna be reporting a story sometime within a year's time that they found Larry Nassar hanging in his cell. I can't see him, being so tough that he just serves his sentence until he dies.
Fred, what are your thoughts on Larry Nassar?
Quick thoughts.
It's going to be a long night because every night because if you're not getting beat up, we know of the things that happen in prison, and we know there's not going to be a dry eye or a crying eye for him. Sorry.
You're right.
I think there's going to be somebody. This may end up in a year or so, maybe shorter than that. We might be seeing a suicide story. No one's going to want to. He's not going to do it.
I'm not because I was about to say, B. There's no real moral conscience in the country or the world. So you could murder 6 people, come in there and probably get some respect for it. But when you mess with little girls, even the most hardened criminals, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
But give me quick thoughts on it so we can move on.
Yeah, we can move on. My thought is, really, there's a gentleman I would like him to meet. His name is Fleece Johnson, and I'm hopeful that they end up being Sullies. That's
no doubt.
That's it, man.
All right, so speaking of penitentiary, Malcolm Jenkins, he gave 2 Super Bowl tickets to someone who's recently out of jail, spent the last 30 years of his life in jail. He was a juvenile who was convicted of murder, but had some appeals processes lately, and they came to the conclusion that automatic life sentences for a juvenile was a little bit harsh. So after 30 years, this guy got out of prison, and Malcolm Jenkins heard about the story. His last name is Songster. I forgot what his first name was, but he's 45 years old now. He's from New York. I'm just trying to find his name. That's what I'm stalling. I can't find his first name. Either way, a few weeks ago, Malcolm Jenkins said he saw an article come across his text that the guy was getting out and he wanted to do something special for him. He didn't know what he wanted to do, but he wanted to do something celebrating him coming home, and then when they made it to the Super Bowl, he decided to give him tickets to the big game. So, that's crazy. He spent the last 30 years of his life in Greatersford in PA. We know a lot about that prison. And
unfortunately,
he'll be going to the Super Bowl. What's your thoughts on that? Because this isn't a case where, now, mind you, this isn't a case where after 30 years they found out that he was innocent. No, it was just they ruled that automatic life sentences for juveniles was unconstitutional. So he ended up getting out on that. He claims to be a changed man, but yeah, this isn't one of those he was wrongly convicted type of things. No, he murked somebody, but he's out and he's about to go to the Super Bowl. He could have gave them tickets to me for real, but
from my perspective, I don't know that I would have done it had I been in his position, Malcolm, because I do think that there are others who may have warranted it. However, in the spirit of compassion and empathy and forgiveness, if that's what Malcolm Jenkins is about, and that's what he stands on, I don't really have a problem with him doing it.
If the people he's sitting next to heard about this story and realize who it is, they're gonna be nervous the whole game. I just have to throw that in there. ain't gonna be nervous and shit. All right, Kobe and the short film that was made about the letter to basketball that he wrote in the Players Tribune when he was retiring. They made it into a short film, and it's been nominated for an Oscar. Now, I was talking to some people yesterday, and I was thinking how quickly. I was like, I don't know if this is really a good idea for that to for them to have even submitted that for Oscar attention, but especially with the current climate of Hollywood and the Me Too movement. My thing was, I was like, okay, Weinstein is never going to allow this to happen because he's going to remind everybody that Kobe was on trial for something back in 2003, and, this is quickly going to start to get eaten alive. And it's already started. His short film, Dear Basketball, which was, like I just said, nominated for an Oscar, there's a petition out right now. It's an online petition asking that this nomination be taken away from Kobe Bryant and this movie because, I'm not even going to say because, I'm going to give you guys the title of the petition. Take Oscar nomination away from Kobe Bryant, a known rapist. So that escalated pretty quickly, and we kind of knew it was going to happen with the current climate of Hollywood. Even if, he really didn't do that in Eagle, Colorado, the fact that it's out there and the fact that everybody's stepping up saying me too in Hollywood right now, there was no way this was going to fly without controversy. So good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I want to say, well, what about due process? He wasn't found guilty, but I find that from coming from me is a little disingenuous, considering that I don't believe in the American justice system at all. So to say that would be a little disingenuous. I don't know. I asked those
Remember
people.
That the case was dropped after the accuser refused to testify. And they did later settle a civil suit because in a lot of those cases, that's all the person really wanted in the first place. But I digress. My question, and then we got to move on. My question to those that took the time to put this together, what are their activities with regards to a larger problem coming and stemming from a larger office in the United States of America? The person that sits at the top, I'm sure that they could invest their time into some of the improprieties that he is guilty of in terms of disrespecting women, in terms of assaulting women, in terms of the allegations, more than three that follow him, and yet you're spending your signatures on a guy who is... You don't have to ask the question that broadly to the people, quote unquote, the people who put this together. Just go tweet Nick Wright directly, and it's like, let me stop.
I wasn't gonna go that far, but I was gonna say I hope we never see anything. I hope Ben Roethlisberger never has any kind of a documentary day.
Didn't Ben Roethlisberger and Trump rape a porn star together? Go ahead. Ben
Roethlisberger did it. He's been alleged of this type of activity. Not once, but twice.
That's slander and liable. Let's cut it out.
But I digress.
All right. Well, let me get some quick. There's some quick birthday shout-outs real quick so we can get back to our Super Bowl 52 initial thoughts, because y'all bugging right now. Birthdays are brought to you by Digital Extreme Technologies. Do you or your business need a custom website? Offer dynamic, professional, and most of all, affordable custom website solutions. You need Digital Extreme Technologies. No need to break the bank for an effective online presence. Top-quality, results-driven websites at incredibly affordable prices. Financing options are available, so visit digitalextremetech.com or call 267-205-4203. And for discounted rates, be sure to tell them War Room Sports sent you right on over there. So quick birthday shout-outs. Chris Mills, former NBA player Chris Mills, turns 48 years old. Shout out to him. Mark Schlereth, Super Bowl champion himself, turns 52. Chris Chelios is 56 years old. So we like to give a big War Room Sports salute to all of these people on their birthdays. Salute to you. Happy birthday. And all that good stuff. Y'all got any quick birthday shout-outs, or y'all good?
No, I think I'm good. I think we need to get on this Super Bowl, man.
All right. Happy birthday. All right. So, y'all can check out our website at warroomsports.com if you want to call in and speak with us about Super Bowl 52 and your initial thoughts on it. Dial the Digital Extreme Tech hotline right now. That number is 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. And I see that we do have a call on the line. We will get to you in a matter of seconds right after we pay this last bill. Super Bowl 52 wrap is brought to you by Audible. Is your schedule too hectic to read as much as you want? Well, try audiobooks. Kick back. Let someone else do the reading for you. All you got to do is visit Audible. Sign up for your free trial at audibletrial.com. In no time, you can be listening to the latest bestsellers hands-free, stress-free, while getting other things done at the very same time. Foosball. All right, real quick before we get into our initial thoughts on the big game, because we spent a lot of time talking about the recap of the championship games. That's only because, we got 3 episodes to go before we even get to the big game. Let's go to the phone line real quick. And callers, we don't have a producer to screen tonight, so we're just going to go straight to the phone line. 973. You're in the War Room. What's going on?
Good evening, gentlemen. This is Lou from Jersey. I had a call before. I know it's been a while, but my schedule.
Hey, Lou, how are you?
All right. I must say that. All right. I must say I'm impressed with the selections for the Hall of Fame this year. All had very good, stellar careers.
The Baseball Hall of Fame? Yeah, that was pretty good. I mean, there's always the 2 glaring omissions, but, like I told people earlier, just settle in and get used to that because while we have the current crop of voters, those Clemens and Bonds, they aren't getting into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and of course, these were the ones that were the last pure class before the steroid era kicked in. These were like the last of the real decent players who, quote unquote, didn't cheat.
Right.
As far as we know.
Yeah, I was about to say as far as we know. Definitely as far as we know.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Fred McGriff? Because he came up short this year, didn't he?
Oh, he's got to get in.
Right.
How could you forget the crime dog?
But did you think there was a case for him over any of the 4 that got in? Or were their numbers just too... Because I saw somebody make an argument for him getting in before Jim Thome. But it's kind of hard to argue 600-plus home runs. It is
kind of hard to argue. Both were great hitters. Griff was on a World Series team as well. Back in '96. I think that alone, deservingly, he should get in. In '95.
Chipper Jones came out and said he believes that the crime dog deserves in. Sure. So he's got some supporters.
Well, that's a former teammate, so.
yeah.
But
right.
You got Lou. You got any thoughts on the initial thoughts on the Super Bowl? Like I know it's not time for the overanalyzation and to dig too deep, but what are your initial thoughts on this matchup?
Well, I'll tell you this. I do think the Patriots are going to win, but the Eagles are not going to go away very quietly. I think it's going to be a hard-fought, competitive game. Foles has taken him this far, and maybe he has enough to keep it competitive. But I still think that the Patriots, in the end, are going to win it out. I mean, look, they came back down from 10 to beat Jacksonville last week, and I thought they're going to blow them out to begin with. But, it's still going to be a very tight-knit game.
Yeah, I mean, it's always difficult to go against Bill Belichick after a week of, a bye week of planning and adjusting. So, the Eagles are definitely going to have their work cut out for them as underdogs again. But we're almost done for the night, Lou. Sorry that we got to your call so late, but we got to go. We'll be talking more Super Bowl 52.
My fault.
Oh, no problem. But we'll be talking Super Bowl again next Thursday and that Sunday morning, Super Bowl Sunday. We're going to have an hour pregame show that day. So that's when you can call in and give your official predictions. But we'll give the time for the Sunday show on next Thursday's show.
Okay.
So listen in next week.
I'll do that.
All right.
Thanks, Lou.
Thanks for your call, Lou. Appreciate it.
You got it.
All right, so Fred, B, initial thoughts on the game. That's another one. We don't want official predictions or anything like that, but just like Lou was kind of saying, and, I piggybacked off and added to a little bit, like how difficult is it, because we can say it's become a thing of legend, but is it a myth, or is the hardest thing to do in football right now is to beat a Bill Belichick coach team when he's had an extra week to game plan, to watch film, to actually go out and film your practice behind your back, and all the things that they do in New England? Well, how hard is that? Is that the hardest thing in sports right now?
No, I don't think it's the hardest thing in sports, but there's a funny thing about the mind. Confidence and self-actualization. If you believe something, then the perception of its reality can replace reality or combine with reality to become reality. I know I'm sounding all pseudo-metaphysical, but
I don't know what the hell you just said.
I think that people believe that Belichick and Brady and the Patriots are unbeatable, and it gives them credence. It builds that myth up, and you're thinking about it as a player, as a fan. You're thinking it, and Tom Brady believes in it. He believes, and when you start to believe, and you're across the line of scrimmage from him, it creeps into the game.
I mean, and they don't necessarily come out even after this, this Super Bowl bye week and just wreck teams. They've won 5 Super Bowls by 7 points or less. So, there's always a chance, right? And there's always a chance that they're going to give to the other team, but it's a matter of can you combat Belichick's in-game adjustments and either hold on to a lead or just do enough to eke the game out. What are your thoughts, Fred?
I think along the lines of what Biafra said too. I mean, it is a mindset. You have to. Jacksonville came in with the right mindset for about 2.5 quarters. And then,
right, they came in with the right mindset and left with the wrong one.
Exactly. I think they came in with the right idea, but for 4 quarters, it's really hard to just keep that because things start going wrong. That 15-play script you have for the second half doesn't go the way you expected it. Or Belichick, we all know the secret to one of his secrets is get for the coin toss. You kick off. And you get the ball in the second half. But what the thing is, most teams don't get a chance to do. He finds a way to get the ball back right before the half, 2 minutes, a minute. It doesn't matter if it's 3 points or 7 points. Put some kind of points on the board.
3 or 7. Doesn't matter.
3 or
momentum.
7. You can stretch it out as far as many as 6 points or as 6, 10, or 14 points. And if you have any kind of a lead, your lead isn't safe anymore because you could have potentially go down 14 points early and often because the first quarter is just a filling out process. And I think that's really one of the things. Belichick plays mind games. Oh, Gronk's going to be on the injury report. We all know this, but he's confirming it. Gronk's going to be on the injury report, even though we know it will. You're going to have to break his legs. You're going to have to do something. You're going to have to break an arm, cut an arm off for this dude not to play. It's Gronk. He's going to play. Brady plays mind games. I thought I might not want to play. I thought it might be a little different. Brady knew he was.
But even in that though, Fred, I've heard announcers like overhype that situation. You know, when Gronk went out last week, you know, Tony Romo was so adamant about how big of a loss that was. Now we know how good Gronk is, but the Patriots have already proven time and time again that they can win without Gronk. I mean, they've proven time and time again they can win without any goddamn body.
Down 28-3 in the Super Bowl without Gronk for pretty much
without Gronk. Yeah. So I'm watching this game and I'm like dumbfounded at how Tony Romo was overhyping that situation. Like, oh, this might mean it. Oh no, Gronk not coming back. I'm like, Tony, like, calm down, dude. Like it's really not that serious. I mean, he's a name. When you look at a name, you know, losing a name like that, people take it more serious. But there's a whole lot more moving parts and cogs up in that New England system to not be able to overcome the loss of your tight end, no matter how good he is.
Gronk does command a double team. He's probably one of the few guys on either side, either team, that can change. I mean, him not playing, I guarantee, will make Vegas change their numbers. I mean, Brady's one of them.
No doubt.
Wentz is one of them.
But that's not, you know, it's not like Brady. It's not like Brian Hoyer has to come in mid-game. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then you might be in trouble.
Right.
But even, you know, in that system, Brian Hoyer, if they say right now Brady's hand is done, he can't play, with this bye week, y'all still got a chance with Brian Hoyer because of what they're going to do to coach him up. So, but if you lose him, you lose a Tom Brady mid-game, okay, then you might be in trouble.
I think
losing Gronk.
With an asterisk there, if Jimmy Garoppolo's still there, and that's a whole other story for a whole other
still
day.
Might be all right.
I would say you're okay. I'm shout out to Phil because San Fran's gonna be fine. They're gonna be more than fine. But you know, I think the one thing I do think is gonna be a huge factor is the Philadelphia Eagles D line, especially Fletcher Cox, and I think Brandon Graham might be a smidge bit better than Fletcher Cox because he can do some different things. But that D line is going to make a huge impact because Brady's going to have pressure not just off the edge, but Fletcher Cox up the middle is just going to be collapsed in the pocket a lot.
When you say better,
I can't say
better as a pass rusher. Yeah, you mean as a pass rusher or overall?
As a full-time pass rusher, yeah.
Okay,
because Fletcher Cox is the reason why it's hard to run on the Philadelphia Eagles.
It all starts in the middle. The closer to the ball you are, the more important you are. For me, I think that's going to – I think maybe the Patriots rely on their run game a little bit more because Dion Lewis, he fumbles every now and then. It's very rare. But he's been the catalyst for their running game. And despite him being a midget and he's a quick midget, and he has sure hands for the most part unless Myles Jack is stripping it from behind and making me have heart attacks in the room. I mean, I'm just sitting there watching this, and I'm like, oh, my God, what are you doing? And the refs are going to be the whole. We all know
we're familiar with Dion Lewis. We're a little familiar with Dion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dion Lewis did play for a short period of time in Philly. He did.
Yeah, we're familiar. And then Coach Belichick got a hold of him, and now the legend begins.
Well, that's a fair exchange. You got LeGarrette Blount. We got, never mind. I'm going to leave that alone.
All right. Well, we are out of time. We're going to be here, like I've been telling y'all all throughout this episode, for 2 more episodes. We got next week's show, and then we have the pregame show on Super Bowl Sunday, where we'll go for an hour with our final thoughts. But the next week's show is where we do most of our analysis. So make sure you guys tune in to that. So thank you, brothers and sisters, for joining us for another briefing in the War Room. Shout out to everybody in the chat room on Facebook, Twitter, War Room Sports, Game Time, on the GroupMe app, and all the callers who called in to holler at us. Special thanks to you, Fred, for joining us to help us out on the episode. Tune in next week live right here or on demand on warroomsports.com as we dive deeper into Super Bowl 52 coverage. And, of course, we'll catch you up on everything happening in the association and all around the sports world in general. So until then, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your week. We'll see you right back here next time. Be sure to catch our conversations on Facebook and Twitter, as well as our blogs, webcasts, network podcasts on warroomsports.com. Also, be sure to pick up Jimmy's book at sportsthebook.com or warroomsports.com. Until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance. And we'll see you chumps on top.
Pop! 6 to 8. Yeah. War Room Sports. Y'all ready? Let's go. Stay in tune to Jimmy. Know the blueprint. Yo. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev. PJ, B. Austin, Doc Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Yeah. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip-hop dollars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC, royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy. DJ, Doc Beck, B. Austin. I'm shot. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports. www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.
I wanted to be